What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fight Like Hell podcast. This is episode 39. It's actually the real episode 39. My heterosexual life mate slash idiot co-host slash amazing friend slash Austin decided to call last episode episode 39 when it was actually 38. He was in a rush to get to 40. We're trying to catch up with a couple other podcasters we like. But Austin, we obviously today's November 18th, 2021. What day is it? Is it Thursday? Thursday. It's a Thursday, people. It's a very fucking odd day to have a podcast, but we're having an odd type of week, so we're doing it today. Anyways, in case you're listening in 2045, now you know the date and the reason why we fucked up the podcast order. Let's get on to the show. We have a very special guest today, one of my really good friends, a person that I consider like a brother to me, one of my hockey teammates, a captain of one of the Warrior teams that we'll discuss. And we have a very special guest. It's Josh Garmon. How are you, Josh?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. Now that it gets dark so early, I feel like it's midnight.
Right.
But
I mean,
I'm doing good.
I'd feel worse if I lived in Alaska still. Like that shit gets dark quick.
And the vampires.
Yeah,
in the 5-degree weather.
Yeah. I mean, we could, all three of us could be in a worse position. We were actually supposed to have a fourth guest, my hockey bae, Trevor. He's currently fixing a house that, what was it? The water went out or the power went out?
The power went out, yeah.
The power went out, 5 degrees. He's got real world issues. And Josh has some sort of issues going on behind him. Well, we'll wait a sec for Josh.
I muted him, so it's okay.
I'm going to bring up a little bit about Josh. Well, wait, he's back. Are you back?
Sorry. Yeah, children called.
Yeah, I know.
You probably hear them.
I have a small dog. It's very uncomparable, but I like to compare it. Just to
yeah, totally. Very much the same thing.
It's completely the same thing.
It's identical. Josh, before we get too deep into this, and people want to figure out if they want to listen to this episode or not, why don't you tell us about yourself, man?
Sure. Well, I live out here in Utah now. We've been out here for almost 4 years by way of Colorado. Spent some time in the Army as a combat engineer. So the folks that drive really slow on the road and look for bombs. And then I got out and have done a lot of different work with various youth-serving nonprofits since I got out of the military. I've been playing hockey. Overall, just in my adult life, it was something I picked up after I got back from Iraq. Never played as a kid. And then the Warrior thing was totally new to me when we moved to Utah. So that's kind of been a newer part of my life and of my hobbies and the things I'm involved in. And it's kind of just taken off over the last few years.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's a good summary. I would have made it insanely longer than that.
Keep it simple, bud.
What's that?
Keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. Kiss. So with that being said, though, when you were out in the Springs, you weren't playing at all?
No, so I started playing hockey when I was living in Colorado Springs, but not with any of the Warrior groups. I don't know if they exist. I know a lot of those guys just as individuals from living out in Colorado Springs and Monument. But I didn't necessarily know that there was any kind of grander organization 4 years ago. And man, it's certainly changed. That's one of the big programs now. Those guys are doing really cool stuff out there.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we should also mention how you and I met. Do you want to summarize that since you're better at the summaries?
I don't remember if it was Bumble or the other one.
Grindr.
That's the one. I as a side note, I'm so glad I've never had to interact on dating websites or dating apps. That's just not a thing because I can't imagine. Dude, it's a whole new world that I don't want to play in. So Rob, we met. I was bringing some guys from Utah to go play in the Lone Star Classic. One of the Lone Star Warrior groups was putting on a tournament last spring, and I just needed some more players. So I reached out to the guys that were organizing the tournament. They said, "Here's a list of dudes," and I shot a few emails out and played a lot of hockey with you since. We played there. You and I played in Nashville. You drove out to Utah for a charity tournament we played in, and then we just got back from Vegas this past weekend.
Yeah, which is actually a really good segue, because I was going to say Weekends Adventures. Let's get Austin in on this for a minute.
I did a whole bunch
you do
of
nothing on the weekends, but well, I mean, you did do something for me over the past weeks.
I mean, I do everything for you, and you do nothing. So I mean, yeah.
We've already decided I am the face and the voice of multiple companies. This is a very challenging job that I have to do, to bring this mug to show up on.
And I have 99 problems and Rob is one.
Yeah, that was something that you did say today. But what have you been working on, Austin, I guess, then? Because you got some stuff coming up next week, right?
Yeah, we're putting together a Toys for Tots raffle to raise money to buy toys for kids for Christmas for Toys for Tots.
Very cool.
And Saber 6 isn't a part of it. Fuck them. They don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? How can I be a part of it? Like, I want to help. All right. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we're doing. We're doing a Black Friday sale. There you go. We're gonna do Black Friday through Cyber Monday.
Rob doesn't know what he's doing.
No,
what happened to your website, Rob?
Well, that's how I was gonna bring up. Bring it up.
Bring
it up on the page.
I have to bring it up. Well, what happened to it? Why don't you talk about it first?
Okay. Well, Austin's bringing up the website. On my drive home, I was telling Austin, the Save Our Six website needs to be updated. We have so many fucking photos. Like, it has to be updated. I also want to get Send It Saturday shirts up. There's a new shirt that we're dropping called Be a Good Human. There's a couple other shirts that we're getting ready to release. We're working on like sporting line clothing that actually is going to be like moisture wicking. I went off on a rant on that like 2 episodes ago. And Austin took it upon himself one night while I was sleeping and tired as fuck to wake me up to let me know that the website had been updated, and now it's got fresh pictures of Sam, Allie, myself, and we have the new Send It Saturday shirts up there, which are pretty fucking dope. So go get them, or just wait a week and you can get them on a really good sale. So yeah, Austin did some nice things for me over the weekend, or over this past week. I don't know. All the days kind of fucking blur together. Sam was here. I slept one day, and then the next day I was on my way to Vegas. And then I was in a hockey tournament and drunk the entire weekend. Let's talk about that, Josh. Let's talk about Vegas and the house. Let's talk about alcohol. Let's talk about games. What do you got?
Where to start, man? Yeah, so the Armed Forces Hockey Association puts these tournaments on. I guess it used to be once a year, and I think they're trying to move to twice a year. So the same folks that put on this tournament in Nashville did it in Vegas, and a lot of the same guys that we've kind of been putting together on this team to play together played in both tournaments. And it's not about who won or lost, that's for sure. We got smoked. We got smoked. Yeah, we just got beat like convincingly by everybody
repeatedly.
Yeah, over and over again. I mean, look, there's worse things to be spending your time doing, right? So I'm not going to be a boo bird about it, but yeah, we got beat
bad. And I'll just expand on that for any of our hockey listeners. How many divisions were there? 7, 6, 8,
I think
12,
8.
40?
Yeah.
8 divisions.
56.
We were definitely like a C/D team, and we got put into the third bracket down. So we were skating against like A-level players, B-level players, and we just got fucking hosed. But the cool thing about the tournament is what they do with your win-loss record of your first 2 games is you either stay in your division, go up a division or 2, or go down a division or 2. Since we suck so bad, I think we were like probably like -20 on goals against
after 2 games.
By the time game. Yeah, by the time, because they at a certain point they just stopped counting goals too. Like that's how embarrassing it was. Um, yeah, so we got moved down 2 divisions and we still got fucking waxed.
Well, once we got moved down
It's,
to, we played against the two of the dudes on the team played at West Point, so we were only playing against like college athletes after we got moved down.
that's it.
Just way closer to our speed, right?
Yep. I mean, we
But it's
didn't
good.
even need to start there, but it's
No, we
all
didn't.
good.
I mean,
We
it is
kept our
good, and I
integrity.
think those dudes put on a good tournament. That Armed Forces Hockey Association. There was some stuff, and I'm not gonna like uh, put their business out there. There was some stuff that made this one a little bit different on their end, but they put out a good tournament, and I can't imagine like taking 80 some teams and trying to organize this. Like I've organized some tournaments that have 8 teams or like 2 divisions of 4 teams each, and the amount of emails and whining and complaining you get is absurd. So yeah, we lost. It would have been fun to be more competitive, but I cannot imagine the undertaking to put a tournament of that many teams together in another state, in another location, um, at all. So hats off to those guys.
Within 6 months too. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I think it was a quick
we
turnaround.
we were skating in May/June at the last tournament.
Mhm.
Here we are in November skating in another tournament by them.
Yeah,
And the location, like I think that was the common talk off the ice. At least we're in Vegas. At
yeah,
least, we had the fucking badass house that Trevor set us up with.
yeah.
Um, you're smirking. Why are you smirking about
It was
that?
great to be in a home together, like as a team, or like a most of our team. That part was really enjoyable. The house felt like a FEMA shelter, but uh,
Elaborate.
well, all right. So there was like the whole thing. How do you put it? There was like one towel in this room that was supposed to house 12 people. There were 2 spoons, and one of them looked like you were trying to give a child medicine from very far away. Like it was a very small head of the spoon and a really long like wand. Um, yeah, just not a lot made sense. They said we were free to use the grill, and I went up and opened their propane grill, and it's just littered with charcoal. Um, yeah,
And
so
no
it felt
propane tank.
in no propane tank, but like it was also filled with coal. So I don't know. It's like if you bought a house in Vegas, and you tried to like YouTube DIY the whole thing yourself, and then you forgot that you had it, and then you came back to it and started renting it out to people. So like it was great to all be there, and it totally served our purposes. Um, but man, yeah, my review would look a little different of the home itself.
Speaking
Yeah.
of that house, Rob, do you want to talk about the thing that you were frustrated about that they did to you? Well, I guess not just you, but the whole noise complaint thing.
Oh, the noise complaint thing.
Oh yeah,
So, so one of the clauses for Trevor set this up, and by the way, we fucking love Trevor, and thank you so much for getting this set up because, like
for
Josh
sure.
said, at minimum we had the team camaraderie, the family vibe. We were cooking dinners together. We were able to take Ubers and Lyfts out together. Like it was fucking fun, a lot of fun. The house was semi-prison like and or just fucking weird. So one night we're all out downtown drinking our faces off, and the loudest person, I'm pointing to myself, is not even at the house. And we get a message. Oh, I should prefix this. Before Trevor did an agreement with the landlord or the, help me out, what are they called?
The person who
The
owns
host, your host, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever manages the property basically said that 8 o'clock is supposed to be the time where you're supposed to not be loud. You shouldn't be blasting music. Don't get a noise complaint from the neighbors, because if you get a noise complaint, it's $1,000 fine. So we're sitting out at a bar or we're drinking somewhere, and Josh, what happens?
Yeah, we're playing blackjack, and you're not supposed to have your phone on the table,
Yeah.
so it's like hard to figure out what's going on. Trevor stepped away from the table and got a message saying there was a noise complaint. Most of us weren't even there, and so the only people left at the house was our buddy Cam, his pregnant wife and his brother. And
Brother.
so, like, a third of the people were asleep. The other two were sitting there watching car shows on YouTube and were for sure not making noise. But yeah, so we asked, "Hey, you guys listening to music? Or what's going on?" And they said, "No, we're just watching car videos on YouTube. Everybody's just kind of hanging out." But there's signs in the place that says, like if you make noise, it's $1,000 fine. So it certainly felt like we were trying to be hustled. We talked to the
Yeah.
neighbors. They were
Neighbors were
fine.
cool. They didn't really care for the owners of the place, I guess.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and I think at one point Trevor even sent a message back and said, "Okay, I can go handle this. Could you please provide some video evidence because they had fucking cameras all
Oh
around the
yeah.
house." And they stopped replying at that point.
Of course they did.
So they were definitely trying to hustle us for
They
an
were.
extra G.
It didn't
Which is
work.
fucked up in itself.
It is a little messed up. I guess it's hard times though. Owning a property in Vegas, I guess you're not supposed to have an Airbnb in Clark County, like at all. I
What?
guess.
How does that make sense when there's probably like a million of them there?
I have no idea. I mean, I guess they want you to really stay at a hotel or stay in the casino. But I forget who sent it. I'll Google it. Am I allowed to Google during the show? Clark County.
Yeah, you're absolutely allowed to Google.
Yeah, just
I'll
not
expand
Rob.
on that. Yeah, just not me.
Listen,
Otherwise, my entire
you'll
camera
know.
shakes. You'll know if he's typing. No, but that was something that we brought up when we were all kind of drunk downtown on the strip, or gambling, or losing money, or whatever we were doing. But basically, we were saying that if they want to bring it like that, and somehow they could even provide video evidence, what they couldn't, we'll just bring up the fact that we could report them for actually having. Dude, I keep wanting to call it an Uber, an Airbnb. Something wrong with me tonight, man. I'm off.
Yeah, no, this is Clark County is the only major metropolitan area that has an outright ban on short-term rentals. And it even has this. It's got a link here. I'll post it.
Send Austin the link.
I'll just post it here on the side.
Yeah,
okay, that works too.
That's fine.
Yeah, you can report a short-term rental.
I see that.
Let's report them.
Nah, I don't think
these guys.
But that makes no sense though. Like that makes no sense because it's Las Vegas.
I know.
Yeah, but no, I think it's more what Josh was saying. Like they want people staying in the casinos. They want people staying on the strip.
And I bet it's hard to really capitalize on the tax revenue too, with an Airbnb. But it's not impossible to fix, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
It says that they estimate that there's 6,000 Airbnbs in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
that are just ignoring it.
Yeah, I mean, because
illegally operating and providing shit service.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I'm sure there's some good
we had available. Also,
it was good. We shouldn't dump on the house that much. I mean, it served its purpose. It had beds. We all ate together, saved money,
drank together,
drank way too much.
Just enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those things where at the end too of staying there, I was pretty much the only one left that could take any items back home with them because everyone else had left a day or two before.
Yeah, you made out.
And I don't even really like Miller Lite. I don't really like some of the like watered down beers. The only like watered down beers I'll drink is like maybe like I don't know, Coors or what's it called? Corona. But I ended up like thinking in my head that I was gonna leave this stuff. But then I remembered where we stayed and the amount of trauma they put Trevor through. So I said, fuck that. I packed up every single thing that I could find that we purchased and stuffed it in my car somewhere. So
I don't think the guy who owns the house like goes by a lot. I don't think he's staying there, so he wouldn't have gotten it back.
Too. Yeah, well, maybe I fucked over someone else. I'm sorry for the next person who's staying there.
It's all right. It's Vegas. They'll find some.
They'll find something. Yeah, definitely. So I guess we'll get into that. Kind of covers Vegas. I mean, like there was a lot of stuff that I don't remember well. I wish
Yeah,
Trevor was here. So
Rob
yeah,
did some karaoke at like this Twilight
I saw
Zone.
I saw the photos. I kept telling him to send me videos, and he wouldn't.
There's a
absolutely
video out
not.
there, and you can hear his and Trevor's vocals really clear, so that exists.
I need that video. I
Do
need that
not
video.
provide that video.
Dude, I don't have it, and if I did, I would probably provide it. I thought y'all sounded fine until I saw the video the next day, so I'm not a really good judge of how that went. No, it's good. We went out a handful of times, gambled a little bit, did the Vegas thing. 5 days in Vegas is a lot.
It's
Like
too much.
it was way too much. So it was one of the things I really enjoyed. Like I was down to be away for 5 days, but it was one of the things I really enjoyed about Nashville. It's like, all right, we're gonna go spend a day and go walk around this park, or like there was stuff to do that wasn't so exhausting or taxing like Vegas can be.
Yeah, and you had rolled your ankle too, so
Yeah,
what happened to your ankle again?
So I sprained both of them right before the tournament, like 2 weeks before, and went to enough doctors until finally one of them was like, "Yeah, you could probably play." Half. I went
1 out of
myself
10.
2 out of 4, and and I'm just paying for it. I went back. I was really hurting yesterday, and went back to the doctor, and turns out I guess there's potentially some fractures in my right one. So
Oh my God.
it was enough's enough. So. I'll take responsibility for our team losing and doing poorly, trying to play with.
It was Rob's fault. What are you talking about?
One good leg
My
and
fault.
no good ankles, apparently. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because to see Josh on the ice, you could definitely tell he was different than normal. His skating posture was different. And there was this, so we had 2 different arenas that we played at, and one of them definitely I know Vegas uses as a practice, like the Vegas Knights use as a practice arena. The other one, I think it's for their AHL team, Silver Knights. But anyways, let me explain the board situation for any of our hockey listeners. So the first one, the boards were like rubberized at the very tip, at the end. So when you're trying to come off the bench, you like get stuck on your ass, and like you're like dragging yourself, and you're like slowly just coming over the boards. But the second rink, the one where the Silver Knights played, had like a 3-foot drop off when you were coming off the ice. So
both
people
sides
were like almost dying getting off that.
The Henderson rink, the boards were so tall, and it still had a little strip of that like rubber stuff to slow you down. It was nuts. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and I can attribute some of your injury to that as well, because
Sure,
your wife and I were trying to get the doors for you, and you were just pissed. So you're just
she said that today. So she said that today, and she's like, "I kept trying to get the door for you," and I was like, "No, you couldn't have." So don't say that. Listen, I'll just leave it here, Rob. I still tied second for leading the team in goals. So with one.
Yeah.
And Rob got none.
Yeah. I got none this tournament.
That's all right. That's
third place. Bad.
Did you get any shots on goal net? Did you get any shots on net at all, Rob?
Shots on
and that's the thing.
I had a few shots.
We were so out of our league, everyone would just skate around. So it wasn't like, man, this guy is not a good player. Like this person's effort's not there. It was just like we were so out of our league that it was a miracle to get shots on, to get zone time, and to do anything sustained. It was just like, you ever see that South Park episode where the Red Wings are playing against the children? That's what it felt like, man. We were those kids out there just getting smashed by all these by all these bullies.
Oh my God, yeah. And I mean, like, our 4th game, which was like somewhat more a little bit evenly matched, somewhat is the key word. We scored more goals in that game than we did in the rest of the entire tournament.
That's right. That game, so that was the one of the guys on that team had one arm, which was like so cool to see. And he would just, and
embarrassing when he would go around people.
Well, I mean, let's call it what it is. It's cool that he could play, right? He wasn't stick handling around me. I mean, but
I
he
mean,
would
he
he
was
would
he was one arm in it. He was one arm in it.
no,
He has
no,
strong
he was
forearm.
super impressive, but he would like put his knee down on the mid part of his stick and like just catapult with his top hand and his knee to get that stick to flex to put shots off. It was really cool to watch. So it was, guys who had some like pretty significant injuries, but also two guys who like just played at West Point last week. So
Yeah, yeah. They and I was talking to that guy at the end of the tournament. I wish I was able to pull up my Instagram. I could at him. Well, maybe we'll put in the show notes or something like that. But he was really cool. Him and I were bullshitting at the end of the game, and it'll actually lead into our next subject about like expansion teams. Um, he was telling me that he really wants to get a prosthetic
mhm,
because it's super fucking annoying playing with one hand and one
I
arm.
bet.
And we were bullshitting, and at the end, I was like, because his right arm's gone. So I'm
Mhm.
like, do I shake your left hand or like how do I do this? And he's like, dap up the nub, man, dap up the nub. And I'm like, do I grab it? He's like, dap it, man. I'm like, okay. So, so it was a super awkward moment because at one point, like I grabbed the nub and I was like, I don't think he wanted me to do that. I think he wanted me to like tap it or whatever. And he's just
I
laughing at me. He's like, yeah, he's like, everyone thinks it's awkward. I'm like, no, it's cool, man.
mean, you
And he's
gotta
like,
imagine
I'm
he's
gonna get a
experienced all
prosthetic.
of that.
Yeah, yeah, you have to have some sort of sense of humor.
Mhm.
But what I was gonna say for the next topic is because the interesting thing about that team that we lost to was a hodgepodge team from the East Coast where it was a warrior program that's inviting in multiple cities or states around the East Coast. They had guys from Philly, they had guys from DC, I think they had some people from Florida.
Mhm.
Nowhere really on the West Coast or in the areas that we're all from.
Mhm.
But that leads me to my next subject where I wanted to let you take the floor, Josh, and
Sure.
explain about what you are planning to do in the near future or already started.
Yeah. So, like I said, this Warriors hockey thing has been really cool. I think it's I've noticed every time we go to a tournament, we're always short a few guys out here in Utah. We need a couple guys to come fill in here and there or whatever positionally, or hey, we've got extra guys. Do you mind adding them to your team? And so we're always taking in more dudes. Um, and it's been really awesome that like every tournament we go to, we meet a couple guys that like we just really gel with, and that like are folks who have had life experience and want to play hockey. And so this like small little community that we've had as like, oh, we've got sub players. Um, we've always kind of wanted to. I've always wanted to kind of find a place for those guys, right? I don't want folks to say, well, yeah, I'm subbing on the Utah team, or I'm just a spare dude. And so this idea had kind of come up, I don't know, between Trevor and I, just kicking back some ideas not too long ago about creating a Warriors program that doesn't necessarily have geographical boundaries at all. And so over the last couple of months and kind of leading into the next few months, we'll get it all registered with USA Hockey, et cetera. But we're starting this USA Hockey or USA Nomad Warriors team. Sorry. So this Nomads team will be made up of guys that are from all over the place with no geographical boundaries, with no kind of limitations. It's just, hey, we want to play hockey. We're veterans. If it's a disabled veteran tournament, then hey, I'm a disabled veteran. I'd like to play hockey. You just jump on to kind of just help build a greater community. I have really enjoyed like this Warriors hockey aspect as like an attachment to my veterans community. I was telling Rob when we were in Vegas, like I really struggled when I got out of the military with this idea of like, well, I'm a veteran. That's it. Like this is the
Right.
sole completion of my identity. I hated that, so I like pushed it away and kind of like really didn't want to interact with that part of my life at all. Not that like, oh, the trauma was so bad. That wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
my experience. It was just I felt like there was more to me, and so to kind of be able to develop this passion of hockey. And have those kind of worlds mend a little bit, it's just been so huge. And so I've just wanted to expand that. So we started the Nomads, and we're hopefully going to go out and play in Dallas, and just kind of kick off that community with a team out in Dallas. And yeah, the idea is that it'll just grow, that we'll have representation from all over the country, from all different backgrounds, all different states, and that we'll build a bigger kind of sense of belonging for some folks. And the idea too is that this is like an attachment to your local organizations, your local teams, your local clubs that have done so much work to build great local programs. Um, the reality is this is growing so fast that there's tournaments where, a guy from Dallas will want to go and say, hey, we've got a great program here, but the Dallas team's full, or Dallas isn't sending a team, but I still really want to go. Like, that's the idea, is that nomads would be for those guys as well. So this is not hey, I'm angry with Doug who plays at my local organization, so I'm starting this other thing. It's, hey, we want people to have a sense of belonging and ownership in this Warriors program. And at the crux of it, we want to create a community of veterans and supporters who want to go out and play some hockey.
Yeah, and I think that's a great explanation. And you might have touched on this, but if you already said this, I apologize. But like the cool thing about the program for programs that either there's hockey programs out there that just don't exist in areas like Wyoming didn't have a team, and that's why I was so happy that you guys wanted me to skate for the Utah Warriors, and that became my home team. And then the other issue that Trevor and I have run into before is unfortunately geographical locations can limit a team's travel too, such as the Alaska Warriors, which we have nothing but love and respect for. But the reality is, in the past 3 years, they've been to one tournament. And a lot of that is just due to geographical location, lack of sponsorship, and just ability to travel. Whereas us kind of being out here in like Mountain West region is what I would call it, we have the ability to up and go to a lot of these tournaments, being in the lower 48. And it's kind of cool that now, like it's weird that, in a way, like it's weird for me to say, oh, I'm a Utah Warrior. I thought you were an Alaska Warrior. No, I don't really skate for them anymore. But you live in Wyoming or you live in Arizona. How does that make sense? Whereas like the Nomads give you a chance to get on like a different tournament team that isn't tied down to a state or a city. So it's a great opportunity, like you're saying.
Yeah, it's all about access, right? I think some of the I don't want to say premier clubs, but some of like the really established clubs, you've got folks in St. Louis, both clubs and teams that are in Dallas are doing some really incredible stuff. Colorado, and that's not like the list, but those are the ones that come to the top of mind right now. They're doing a lot of work to say, hey, we're hosting this thing. Come, we want to host you. Come to our city. Come to our town. Come see what our program looks like. We want to share resources. We want to do those things. And the invite gets put out there. But, for those guys, like you said, what if you live in Wyoming? What if you live in North Dakota? What if you live in Montana, but you want to play hockey and you're a veteran? Like, there should be an avenue for that. And so that's kind of my dream and my hope for this Nomads thing is, we're creating a grander general just community for folks that want to be together and go play some hockey and take advantage of what these other clubs are doing and putting on these really awesome tournaments all over the place.
Yeah. And then I would like to make an announcement. It's something that you and I discussed in Vegas. At the end of the fourth quarter, Save Our Six does something where we're taking 5% of our proceeds and we're giving it to a Warriors hockey program. And you and I originally were going to try to work that out with a different organization. However, like, I wanted to help this club just because of the fact that it's new and the ideology is to give to a Warriors organization. So Save Our Six is actually going to be working with the Nomad Warriors and donating 5% of their proceeds from the year.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, nothing but love for you. I guess that kind of covers hockey programs. Austin, did you have anything that you wanted to chime in about since you're over there? You're not actually falling asleep this time. This dude fell asleep during the interview with Brandon.
Oh yeah,
hockey.
I was only half asleep.
He fucking fell asleep.
Sounds like a host. Sounds like a host problem.
I just don't play hockey.
You could.
You seem more entertained this time. You like the way Josh looks better? Is that what it is?
You could come play
It's
hockey.
his voice. He has a better podcasting voice than you do, Rob.
Oof.
I mean,
That's going to take a
that's
lot
a
of
rough
therapy.
one because I get compliments on my voice all the
Yeah.
time. I don't actually believe you on that. If you said better looking, I would go with that. He's a fucking stud.
Wow.
No, straight homo. I mean, no homo. Anyways, but one of the things though that I definitely wanted to chime in on that you had brought up earlier is, you know, and it kind of ties into what Austin was just saying, is there's a lot of veterans out there, especially ones that listen to this podcast, that kind of lose that sense of purpose when they get out of the military. And, you know, was it all worth it? Especially like this year after watching Afghanistan fall in like 2 fucking days.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that Warrior Hockey, and I've expanded on this before and I'll say it again, has done for a lot of people, including myself, is it's a great suicide prevention technique. It's a great program to meet up with like-minded people. We have players of all levels. It's not just players like Josh or myself that have been playing for handfuls of years, or, you know, people like Trevor that have been playing their entire lives. There's players who literally laced up their skates, you know, for a first tournament going with us. So even someone like Austin, you know, we could potentially get you in too. And even if you sucked, we just wouldn't play you in a tournament. But
No, genuinely.
like,
I mean, we've
That's
had
definitely
guys
how
who
it'd be. I definitely had no idea what I was doing.
it'd be all right.
I don't even know if I know how to skate.
We'd teach you. We'd figure it out, right? Like we've had
we
guys
teach
who
you. We have
literally
a 70-year-old.
we had guys who
Is his
had
name Rob?
played their first Old Rich. Pouring out. Oh, he's not dead.
Rich.
I talked to him today. Yeah, Rich enlisted in 1974. Bless his heart. But yeah, no, I mean, Austin, we had guys who went when we went in Dallas last year. Their first game of hockey ever playing hockey was our first game of that tournament. So I just think that's what it's about, and I see, you know, a lot of these organizations that are making their teams super competitive, and I think that's awesome too, right? Because that competitive spirit and that adrenaline, there's certainly a place for that. It is cool to see those same organizations that are also focusing on being super competitive, also focusing on expanding the game. And so, yeah, I think wherever you are, if there's a Warrior organization around you, whether it's Nomads or whatever state you're in, like there's not a barrier to entry that I've seen in any of them. Go out and play.
And that just made me think too, we need to grab an Instagram for Nomads, and I can start managing it if you want, or help manage it.
I don't want to manage it at
once
all.
we get a logo and everything.
That's right. That's in the works.
Good. But yeah, because then we can always come back later and start pushing it through like Vigilant and Humble, which is a pretty big company that Austin runs.
No
and
idea.
Save Our Six. No idea who that is.
No idea who that is.
Yeah. And actually, Josh, there's one thing that I do want to touch. That way we're just not like making this a short episode, because there's a lot of things I value about you beyond hockey too. And you and I share a common interest, and that's fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought it was women.
I wanted, what's that?
Also that for sure.
What?
I said I thought it was women.
There's several common threads.
There's common threads, yes. We do like attractive women. But, you know, Josh likes his attractive woman wife only, because he's very happy.
Well, yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference between me and Josh and you, is that we can keep women.
He's been holding on to that one for a long time.
I just like to give him shit all the time.
That was brutal. It's brutal. It's okay. I'm enjoying my single life. It's all good. I don't need anyone. I got little ALY somewhere in this house. Don't want to say her name because she'll come over to me. But yeah. No, but I was gonna say, Josh, you're into powerlifting. Why don't you talk about that and some of your personal training stuff and some of the things that you've even worked with me on?
Sure. Yeah. When I joined the Army, was like this just really little chubby kid. And when I got out of basic training in engineer school, my head was the same size. And so I was like, yo, we've got to do some work about this. And so, like, I don't know, in college, the people I was around were always working out. And so I always had like a general interest. And I was naturally strong. And so enjoyed that. And, powerlifting kind of came about over the last couple of years. Really, a good friend of mine, Justin, who played on our team, um, owns a gym in town, Ironbacks Gym. Plug them real quick, in Heber City, Utah. And I'd kind of gone into Justin's gym reluctantly because this is going to alienate some of your listeners. I thought it was just like a CrossFit gym with people who like do whippy doos and get hurt and have rhabdo. And
That's what Rob does.
And I wasn't like into that.
No, I
And
don't. I
so,
do functional fitness. It's different.
yeah. Let me tell you about functional. So powerlifting, you can pick up a car. No, so I walked into his gym and he was like, Justin's like, hey, have you heard of this regimen, right? It's called the conjugate method. Westside Barbell kind of invented it. They're out of Columbus, Ohio, and they are lunatics, man. They are nuts, like just the strongest people in the world. And there's a Westside versus Everybody's a documentary kind of about their gym and their method, and Louis, the guy who kind of like invented it. They're just lunatics. So I was like, well, I'll try this out. This looks different. And I don't know how I feel about different. Kind of stuck in my ways for a while. And ended up doing the Westside Barbell method for a while and just got super, super strong. For a while, I was trying to chase down some state records. Was getting too slow in hockey, and so that's not necessarily my goal anymore. But just got so strong, stronger than I was like in my 20s. And so over COVID, you're sitting around trying to figure out what to do with all your time. So I went and grabbed a coaching certification to be able to coach the conjugate method that Westside preaches, and have kind of worked with Justin to start a nonprofit that'll provide powerlifting instruction for free for kids in town. So that's kind of the other project awesome. I'm working on. Yeah. And then, the other part of that is, it sounds crazy, right? Like the diet and sports nutrition stuff, when you're doing powerlifting, it's just like, I don't know, man, eat 10 steaks, like do whatever you want. It's like super easy and not very regimented, but
where's your rice cakes at?
That's right. Chicken and rice, brown rice, and so, yeah, I took those classes and got really into that for a while. And it's not necessarily something I do professionally. I don't do any kind of like fitness coaching or nutrition stuff, but have definitely over the last year, like really figured out, hey, my body likes when I'm feeding it X, and this is probably why, and here's some of the science behind it. So, Rob was trying to do some crazy thing where he didn't drink in Nashville. I don't even remember what it was called. It was stupid, but
I was gonna prefix that and say that you actually helped me get set up for the 75 hard with my diet, but we can also talk about how it got broken.
Yeah, I was just trying to show you like that there was a way to reach your goals that didn't include having to go on 2 walks a day and drink a gallon of water, and that you could like have fun with your friends when you travel to Nashville for the first time in your life. No, I've got a lot of friends who have done the 75 hard thing and like loved it and have some pretty incredible results. So I certainly am not the person to badmouth that. I just wanted you to drink with us when we were in Nashville.
Yeah, you guys wanted drunk Rob halfway through.
Yeah, we got him.
Yeah. Oh, you got him. You definitely got him. But I mean, I was good at the beginning. I was doing well. Like you guys were like, just like one drink. No one will know.
That's right.
And there was free beer at that entire tournament, whereas like the other previous tournaments we gone to, we had to kind of pay for some of our beer. And I'm just like, no pizza, no nothing. And then like I think it was our third game, or like it was
that social
3 days into it.
It was the social. It was the day that we had the 7:45 a.m. game and the 11:45 p.m. game.
They actually started after midnight. Started at like
he told me.
In the morning.
He's like, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fucking done. And Austin was even gonna let me off the hook if I just wanted to do one night of fucking partying and like drinking and eating, and then it was just gonna be off the record and continue 75 hard. But at that point, like I had decided, like, no, like I can't be a fucking hypocrite and I can't be a fucking liar. Like if I'm coming off, I'll come off, but I'm also gonna bring out Hurricane Rob.
Yeah, it was great content.
Yes, it was. That was a wild night. That I didn't like country except for that night. That was one of those nights I actually enjoyed, like country bars.
Yeah,
it's Nashville. I don't think you have a choice.
You do not. Well, yeah,
no other choice.
Not on that street. It was rad. It was fun.
There you go. That's Josh's catchphrase. Rad.
That was rad.
Yeah, rad is your word. Definitely
use
a
it.
word.
Feel free.
Rad Josh.
Yeah. He lets me borrow it. He said I could have it sometime if I want it.
That's right.
And I
It's not
appreciate
exclusive.
that thoroughly.
Anytime.
No, you're Hurricane Rob, and that's Rad Josh. So we're good.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
there
I've
we
been
go.
called worse.
Right.
Yeah. And the only other last thing I want to get onto, just because this podcast reaches out to people that struggle and or are fighting like hell to get through shit, is what are some of the techniques that you've used or developed over the past either handful of years or the past year that you think have been helpful towards staying motivated, staying happy? Like, you're minus like when you get pissed off on the ice, you're a fucking happy dude. Like, I love talking to you. My mom fucking adores you. Like, my mom got to meet you over the spring. Like, you're such a genuine, kind-hearted person, and you control your anger really well. And what do you do? What are some of the methodologies that you've used over time to like combat depression or like get to where you are at today?
Yeah. Well, first, I appreciate that. If you heard me like get on my kids, you'd have a different take.
That's just your dad voice.
On anger. Well, listen, it comes out sometimes. Yeah, when I got out of the military, I've always had like a really strong faith life, and really credited my faith life and my relationship with God to be kind of that thing that is, I don't know. You get out and everyone's like, man, you're so well adjusted. You're so well adjusted. It's like what everybody says. And I never really knew how to take that. I think having a bigger picture on the outlook of life, and for me, that's spirituality and my connection with the Lord is it helps you be a little bit introspective. It helps you kind of really put things into focus. And it helps you kind of like take ownership of the things that you need to take ownership and change, and also kind of cast out and put aside the things that you don't and give those up. Right. And so, yeah, the short answer for me, it's always been like a strong connection to my faith life. And that's been congruent when I was in the military, getting out of the military, with the way I raised my kids. I would hope that would be like the common theme and the common thread. So, yeah, listen, I say some things on the ice that Jesus would not like. So it's not perfect, but I'd say, yeah, that's just always been the piece for me. Whether it was kind of like some of the stuff that was difficult in growing up, some of the stuff that's been difficult as a veteran. There's a large community of faith of people that would love to kind of share what it looks like to pray, what it looks like to meditate, share what it looks like to connect you to a community that really wants your best interest. And for me, that's where I found it for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of family, the only other thing I wanted to say is one of my line mates in the hockey tournament was your lovely wife, Megan.
Yeah.
That was her second tournament.
It's her
like second big tournament, right?
Probably like third or fourth. Okay. Yes, I mean with playing on a Warriors team, yeah, that was her second. She's played a couple out here. She plays on a women's team out in Park City. Quick shout out to Park City Predators and their expert coaching staff. And then she plays on just like
you.
I mean, I'm part of it. And then she plays on a women's team out here. I discovered hockey as an adult. It was like such a crazy positive outlet for me, right? That was my physical outlet, right? My spiritual outlet was so important. My mental outlet was really tied into that. And hockey was such a big part of my physical outlet. And then, when I met Megan, getting to share that with our now 13-year-old Malachi, it was always just so special to share something I was so passionate about with him. And then, Megan would come out and she'd get on skates and help me out here and there when I would run, like learn to skate, learn to play stuff in Monument and Colorado. And then it just kind of developed like, hey, do you think you would ever play? She played softball in college, so she's like naturally athletic. She loves things that are challenging. And, even if she didn't, our life is so dominated by hockey with two kids who play in a club now that like she was destined to start playing. So I think it's so cool. It is never something like I never said like, I got to find a girl who likes hockey, or like this has to be a part of like my marriage that we go play hockey together. Like it's something I never expected. That is super super rad. So it has been very very cool that she plays.
That's Rob's dream right there.
I know, dude. It's out there. It's out there. Even if they don't think they like hockey at first, as long as they're not like, ugh, I hate hockey, then you could probably get
And
there.
her name is
Megan.
Colleen.
Yeah, Rob wouldn't be with them if they hated hockey.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, that wouldn't work out.
Yeah. No, but it was cool, and Megan definitely, you could tell that she's making improvements. She had a couple shots on net.
Mm-hmm.
She actually took a one-timer at one point. So, and she was able to move the puck. She knocked 2 dudes off the puck at one point.
She took some names. Yeah, the ladies of our team came to play for sure.
Yeah, Tia definitely stepped up this tournament too. And I even stepped up as a lady on the ice.
Curtsies all around.
Yeah, no, it's just it was something I definitely wanted to mention because like Megan, it's so cool to see both of you guys out there, and you guys have been very very much like family to me. When Everett and I came and we stayed at your guys' house.
Yeah.
That tournament in August, that was awesome. Like,
yeah,
to actually be a part of your family for a little bit was super cool. And then like Megan made a fucking amazing ass. Like, what was that avocado with corn dish?
Corn salad.
What's that called? What? Say again.
Corn salad.
Corn salad.
Yeah.
Which had. Can you name all the ingredients? Because it was so fucking good.
It's corn. It's corn. Some scallions, a jalapeno, avocado, salt and pepper, and a little bit of olive oil and lime. That's it.
Damn, dude. I think cilantro too.
And some cilantro. Good looking out.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's like that's our company meal. We always make that.
Yeah, that was one of the best random side dishes I've ever had in my life. Like I had like 3 or 4 servings of it. I'm like, there's protein and healthy fats and shit in here that's good for you, and it's not just a filler because it's just corn. It was it's good. Fucking good.
It's super simple to make too.
Okay, you're gonna have to teach my brain damaged brain later.
Rob needs that recipe.
I'll tell you.
Oh, by the way, I finished the avocados today. I made sure to eat all of them before they went bad.
Good, dude. You made out. You really did.
I got a bunch of free beer and a bunch of free avocados.
Yeah. That's a good trip.
That's all a growing boy needs.
Austin, why don't you give us some trending news, and then we'll get into ATI so Josh can go beat his kids. I mean, go meet up with his kids.
Yeah, that one's the baby. He gets to do what he wants.
Right.
Oh, okay. Never mind. He runs the house, kind of like Allie.
So the only trending news we have for today is something I saw that was interesting was the Staples Center, which is like one of the most popular venues in LA, is being renamed to crypto.com on Christmas for the next 20 years because they paid $700 million to have their name changed to that.
Can someone do the math on that real quick, since I'm not allowed to type and shake my keyboard? I want to know what the payout per year was for that.
700 million divided by 20?
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that wild?
35
million?
How did you know that? You're just good with numbers.
Engineers, baby.
Engineers, yeah. We just shoot things and blow stuff up. We don't take into account anything.
The math.
You don't need to count how far away they are. You just shoot them.
Shoot them.
Yeah.
Although one of the coolest courses I did was a sapper sapper course training. What's sapper stand for again?
It's not a thing. It's just what the sappers were the guys that used to dig underneath all the siege equipment and like towers back in like medieval times. So engineers, anybody who does siege stuff, that's where sapper comes from.
Oh, so it doesn't actually like stand for like an acronym.
It does not.
I'm slightly disappointed, but
you can make one up. Make one up. Pitch it.
Okay, we got sapper. It's an S. So it's going to be...
So the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, right. We're never going to figure out.
This is a bad idea. We should.
You got two keywords in a row. You're never going to get it.
Yeah, the next 30 minutes if I'm trying to figure out what
I just start like phonetically spelling it. I'm like, it's the Sierra Alpha Papa Papa. Well, that was all that we had for trending news. And Josh, we're probably going to get into some uncomfortable questions for you here. This is the section we call ATI for Josh's family, who loves Josh and respects Josh, and or my parents. This is the part where you turn off. ATI is basically answer the internet. It's questions that we
Barstool Sports.
get usually from Barstool Sports or Would You Rather questions. Some of them are lighthearted, some of them are super fucked up, and I think we only picked fucked up. So Austin, kick us off. What do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna read the first one because it's lighthearted, and then we're going into super fucked up.
Oh God, yeah, I see him.
Would you rather wake up in the middle of the night to someone in your house or a ghost at the end of your bed?
When I was in college,
Yeah.
it was Halloween and I was going to bed early and I woke up and there was a girl standing at the foot of my bed, dressed like Harry Potter. And I like yelled, "What the hell are you doing here?" She's like, "Don't be alarmed. I'm Hermione Granger." And so we threw her out because that is not okay. You can't just be like creeping around. Like, how long was she there? Intruder or ghost? Do these have to be rapid fire? I don't know. Ghost.
Okay.
Ghost?
What about you, Rob?
Okay. I think ghost because if it's a person, I'm grabbing my gun and I'm shooting them. Like,
yeah,
that
and
poor
what if
little
it's just
Harry
like
Potter
some
chick
drifter?
might have died.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go with ghost and then I'm moving. What about you, Austin?
I was gonna go with person because you can get rid of the person, you can't get rid of the ghost.
Fuck, that is a
Not
good
for sure.
point.
That's a strong argument.
All right, I changed my mind. I want person.
I'm gonna hold.
You're stuck.
I'd
You're
rather
stuck.
be dead.
You're stuck with the ghost, Rob. It's gonna be moth
It's in my
ghosts.
house.
It'll be moth ghosts.
Oh God. Oh my God. That'd be awful if it was a moth ghost. Yo, speaking of like wild bugs and shit, like I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this place once it starts warming up. Because I'm on a couple of the Grand Canyon Facebook pages, and one of them is for employees that work out here. And some dude posts this bug that's like this long, has like the lower body of a moth and like a stick-like creature coming up the top of it and long fucking legs and like antennas on the front of it. And the person's like, what type of bug is this? So I respond, a terrifying bug. And then someone actually responds with
like what
what
actually
it
was.
is. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't remember the name of it, and no one ever replied to my comment.
It's gonna show
I
up
thought
in
it
your
was
bedroom.
funny. So, dude, it's somewhere in the park. Oh, and then like 2 weeks ago, we get an email because we get all the information about the animals and shit that are out here because I live in a national park. If I haven't ever told you, and they're talking
Never heard
about
of it.
the tarantula migration that's going on at the park.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fuck? And yeah, a couple of my buddies had pictures of tarantulas. They even had the housing department, I guess before I moved in, had a picture of a tarantula that was in my backyard. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck all that noise. I
So you're
really
gonna have
just want to avoid the tarantulas.
So you're gonna have tarantulas. You're gonna have moths. You're gonna have weird half moth, half stick creatures. You're gonna have all those.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, I might be moving in out of here, going somewhere colder this summer.
Back to Alaska.
Relocate. Back to Alaska we go. All right, let me get the next question. Oh,
you got this,
Josh,
Rob.
I feel bad for us. Watch your parents have sex the rest of your life or join them once and then never again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody who could justify joining, period. Like, just period. There's no one who could say that and be like, no, that's my final answer. Not at all. If that's your answer, you should be on a watch list.
I think
you're just gonna watch them.
My answer.
You would do one time.
I can't though. Like I can't do either. Is suicide an option? Oh, that's a terrible subject. Just my bad.
Yeah,
that's why we tell people to tune out at this point.
Yeah, anybody who says join is just, I mean, objectively wrong.
I love the judgment. Austin, are you joining?
No.
Yeah, there's no
After
way.
that
You see, you
comment,
didn't
Just
even
start
ask the
for
I feel
question.
life.
like you've been bullied. What did you want to say before Josh bullied you?
100% I would, Rob. You know it.
Join in.
100% Rob.
There's not a way.
I could imagine that.
You don't
I
get that
don't want
out.
to imagine that. But,
You don't get that out of here. You know what you did.
Rob thinks about that every night when he goes to bed.
You will now.
no, I don't.
He will now.
I just no, I know. Well, I have a good forgetful memory, thank God.
So you're
I
saying
guess
you
I'm
join them,
going
Rob?
with no. Like I can't like I can't fuck my parents. Like that's weird. Like
Yeah, no, it
you
is.
can't undo that.
Sure can't.
It's weird. Like all right, so like when I was a kid, I saw my parents naked, and I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure I walked in on them wrestling. That's what they
That's
told me they
fine.
were doing at least. But
We're wrapping your presents.
yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah, something like that. No, I can't. I can't fuck my own parents.
There you go.
I'm with
See?
Josh on this one.
Settled. You just
I've
can't.
logically thought this out. I thought at first, like, all right, hear me out. I almost did say it because it's like it's one and done. You know what I mean? But
Doesn't
that's
matter.
like permanent fucked up. Like
I mean, you're already fucked up enough.
like you can't fuck the thing that you came out of. Like that's weird. Like
Hey, some people do
that's
that.
not okay.
You're preaching to the choir. I understand.
What if? All right, let's just say in a hypothetical world, your mom is dead.
You're trying to make this okay.
Your stepmom is hot as fuck.
Well, that's not your
Then
mom.
like it's okay.
Nah, you're still making it weird.
Okay, let's move on to the next thing.
Rob's trying to make justifications over there.
I will not be fucking my parents, so that's my final answer.
Unless they're your stepmom, then it's okay.
Unless it's a stepmom and she's hot, then we're okay. Sorry, Dad.
Are we?
According to Rob. Would you rather give the first 99% or the last 1% of a blowjob?
Oh my God.
What are you dying for, Rob?
I'll go first. We'll
Yeah.
spare Josh for a second so he can contemplate his fate.
No, I feel like I know where I land.
I'm doing 99%.
That's the right answer.
Just because like I have problems swallowing. I'm afraid that I might actually like choke to death.
Yeah. Yeah, same answer.
I think this is a
for
poor
like
answer.
different reasons. Yeah, no. Yeah, I think that's the right answer for sure.
Yeah, I'd definitely go 99%.
So, all right, I have a funny story on this subject. Actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to go 1%.
There was, dick in hand. No, just kidding. So one night, I was
about your weekend in Las Vegas.
This was a few years ago. I was fucking some girl who was my girlfriend at the time, and she had amazing, nice big boobies, and I'm like fucking her, and I'm like, I'm about ready to come. Where do you want me to put it? God, I hope my parents don't listen to this. And she's like, put it on my tits. I'm like, okay. So I was excited, and I overshot, and I shot her in the face instead of her tits. So like hit her in the face, in the eyes, in the mouth, everything. And I'm fucking laughing hysterically. Without skipping a beat, she just goes whip, wipes, and just goes blah, and gets me in the face.
Yeah.
Like just takes the semen and like passes it across my face. So all of a sudden, semen is in my eye, across my nose, across my mouth, in my mouth because I was laughing and didn't expect the retaliation. So basically, the long story short is I've tasted semen before, mine, and it was quite salty. It was
Rob
one of those
liked
things
it,
that,
is what he
like,
said.
in the back of my head, I was like, wait, I've tasted semen before. I don't want to finish a blowjob.
Yeah, you just keep digging that hole, man.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Okay.
Hey,
This has been
read the
an
last one,
interesting
Rob.
ATI. Last question. Would you rather have, oh my God, have sex with your sibling and have everyone know about it for $50 million? All right,
No.
Austin.
Yeah.
I'm going
Oh,
yes.
nope. Dude,
Just
you're like
because.
into all this incest shit.
Well, I was just saying because with that much money, you can just disappear.
I don't know if you can like slept with your brother disappear.
Yeah. Don't you not have a sister? Don't you have a brother?
I have both.
Oh yeah.
I feel like pretty content in life, right? And there's two things. There's two things that I don't have. The first is
$50 million.
first is $50 million, and I've also never slept with my brother. So there's those things together. I think I'm good. I'm living that. Nah.
Yeah, I'm passing. I can't fuck Michael. That would just be weird. So, now, in the hypothetical world, if I had a hot stepsister, that would
There
be
we go.
different.
Twist.
And there he goes again.
As long as it says the word "step," you're good. Well, we know what kind of porn. We know what kind of porn Rob watches.
You know what my search porn is. Hot stepsister. Anyways, God, I hope people don't listen to this episode at least the end. There was something else I had to say, and I distracted
About
myself.
stepsisters?
I guess that covers it. That was pretty much the episode. Before we go though, on a very serious note, Josh, is there anything you want to plug, like your Instagram, any of the companies you work for, businesses?
Nope.
Okay.
I think
You live a pretty private life on Instagram and
I sure
Facebook.
do. I sure do. Give some money away to charity. It's good for your soul.
Okay.
Any charity.
And that charity is Saver 6, right?
Could be. Yeah.
Could be. That could be part of it. Get yourself
Could
some
be the
nice
charity.
gear.
Give some money away.
And 5% is going to go to Josh's Nomad Warriors or our Nomad Warriors or however that works.
The
not
Nomad
The
Warriors.
Nomad Warriors.
The Nomad Warriors. I like that. That's a good answer. What about you, Austin? You got anything you want to plug?
Nope. I think we're good, man.
Okay. Well, Josh, don't hang up on us because we
Nope.
got to take a picture when we're done. And we appreciate having you on. Thank you for all of our listeners. Any of our new listeners, please like, subscribe, write a comment, talk shit. Don't talk about the ATI stuff. Say good things. And remember, this
talk
was
about Rob's
episode...
stepsisters.
Oh my God. Yeah, this was the real episode 39. With that being said, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us, and peace.